Now, there have been a lot of stories about Fox News, and I've been trying to get people to pay attention to all the things that are going wrong in Fox News for a long, long time. Back in the day, people wouldn't even challenge fair and balanced. Now we've gotten past that. They do. It's kind of like an inside joke for the media, like fair and balanced. So that's okay. But let me ask you guys something. Why do you still treat them as a news organization? I mean, they oftentimes lead the White House Correspondents Group. And if the Obama administration says, hey, these guys are doing propaganda for the Republican Party, and Obama doesn't even say it that strongly, you guys go, no, 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 no. Those are our friends in the news channel of Fox News. But now that Roger Ailes' rock has been uplifted and you see all the worms coming out, not just the sexual harassment, but a PR campaign against his opponents. There's a black room that Gabriel Sherman reported about in New York Magazine where they do opposition research, they follow people around, they spy on them. Now all of a sudden everybody's coming out with a story. And I told you on day one, when we had the sexual harassment claims, I said by Gretchen Carlson, I said, if he did it once, he did it dozens of times. This is going to be like Bill Cosby. I was right about that. I told you earlier, I know, I was at MSNBC. They warned me about the black room. I don't remember that they called it by that name, but they said they will follow you around. They told me that back in 2011. When I said it, people were like, oh, no, don't be crazy. Now that it's been revealed, everybody's like, oh, yeah, we knew that all along. So here's Brian Stelter and Bill Carter on CNN talking about the crazy things Roger Ailes did to them.
In terms of the money, this is Gabriel Sherman's reporting in New York Magazine. He's been a leader on this story. He wrote a book about Roger Ailes a number of years ago. A lot of what he's reporting, I think reporters have suspected for a while. I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, I had a crush on a woman at Fox News. She was a low-level staffer. I was in college at the time. So I was going out with what I thought were dates, because I thought these were dates. These were not dates. She was actually reporting back to Fox News about me. She was reporting back what I thought of her and about CNN and MSNBC and Fox. Because I was a reporter on the beat, they were actually spying on me that way. Now, I didn't think that was a big deal at the time. I thought it was the way Fox operates. Fox is a political organization. Yeah. But now we know they were actually sending out private investigators. They were following reporters around.
No, but Brian, that is a big deal. And so if you're wondering why in the world was Fox looking into this guy when he was in college, because he started a website called TV Newser that tracked all cable news. So they wanted to see what their competitors were up to. They wanted to see what Brian was writing about Fox News. So Brian Stelter then later winds up working at the New York Times, and now it's CNN. But Brian, that's a big news story. You should have shared it with everybody. I know probably the reason you didn't is because when I shared my stories, everybody's like, oh, right, sure. And so you get worried about putting that out there. But if you knew that they were a political operation and not a real news organization all this time, why didn't you say so? Because all of the rest of the press treated them like they're the most legitimate news channel you've ever seen. They're all part of the same news circles and press conferences and organizations. Well, you are helping them to commit fraud. I don't mean legally, but I mean in reality, against the American people, to pretend they're news when they're actually a political operation. You should have pointed that out. Look, here, Bill Carter's going to get involved as well. Here, watch.
I mean, we knew covering Fox, you had to deal with that. You'd get a call from them saying, you better be right on this story. You better be right. Or the implication was, we'll dig into your past. We'll dig into your private life.
So we sort of knew, but now we know much, much more because of these reports, like from Gabriel Sherman, saying that money, that Ailes was using Fox News money.
Yes, operatives that were on this.
So look, I want to give Bill Carter and Brian Stelter credit for coming out now, but if you all knew, why didn't you ever say it? Look, I have a theory on why they didn't say it. One, they're afraid to put their necks out there. And two, it's because a lot of people that work at CNN and in other parts of the media, they worked at Fox News before, or they might work at Fox News later. Or they have friends who work at Fox News. So they feel embarrassed saying, oh yeah, they work for a sham organization. The guy who had Brian Stelter's job at CNN before Brian Stelter is Howard Kurtz. Where is he working now? Fox News. So Howard Kurtz, for example, had all the incentive in the world not to say anything bad about Fox News because later they would pay him a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying that's what Stelter did here or Bill Carter did, but I'm talking about the culture of cable news that, hey, we're going to protect Fox News even though we all secretly know, but we won't share it with our audience, that they're not a real news organization. They're political propaganda. That's not fair. It's almost as unfair as the graphic we put up here of Brian. Sorry about the picture. Okay. Okay, one last thing, guys, and this is important. Okay, then let's do the right thing going forward. So can we all acknowledge that they're not doing real news? Can we take any action on that? Should we discuss whether they should be in the White House press briefings? I mean, these are legitimate questions. Or, you know what? Say, of course they can, but they just have to acknowledge that they're opinion journalism. Okay, no problem. Get rid of the fair and balanced slogan and say, we do perspective journalism. We're part of opinion media. Okay, no problem. Then at least it's clear and we know where you're coming from. And so, yes, it's because it's not just Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly that are doing opinion. We also know the internal memos where executives, not just Roger Ailes, but other executives wrote to their anchors saying, this is how you will cover Obama on air. This is how you'll cover the Democrats on air. You will say that the terrorists celebrated when they won. And then you see McCollum say it on air. Oh, and then there's reports of Hamas celebrating because the Democrats won the elections. Where's the video? Nope, doesn't exist. Doesn't matter. You got a note from the executives because you're not doing real news. You're doing propaganda. See, that's not even opinion journalism. That's making stuff up. And that's making it up for a political purpose. There are notes from executives to anchors saying, call Obama a Marxist, a socialist. And then, boom, on air they call him a Marxist and a socialist. That's not even opinion journalism. That's propaganda. So if you're willing to call them what they are going forward, great. If not, well, then I'm going to have to take your sudden outrage as not as genuine as it should be. Okay, do something about it.